Two fights this weekend that are going to be covered in this particular video. The first is Jake Paul versus Platinum Mike Perry. This was originally supposed to be Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson on Netflix, and Mike Tyson had his health issue, and now the entire card looks different than what it was going to be before, or at least the main fights do. And now we have two replacement opponents, if you want to call it that, for the two main fighters on this particular card. First, we have Jake Paul in the main event. He's going to be facing Platinum Mike Perry, former UFC fighter who has since really turned into a viable BKFC guy. In bare knuckle, he is undefeated, so that is going to translate here, he hopes. And he also has 11 knockouts in MMA among his 14 wins. But Jake Paul is obviously the favorite here in that 3-1, 4-1 range, and is sort of climbing at the time of this recording. But Jake Paul, 9-1. 6 knockouts in his boxing career, lately has actually defeated actual boxers, but had long layoffs, were kind of cherry picked, had beefed up records, etc. First round stoppages for a reason, Jake Paul, which we've talked about here at Action Network several different times. But he gets Platinum Mike Perry here. Some people think Mike Perry's got a puncher's chance. Earlier this week, when the line opened for the knockout or technical knockout portion, Jake Paul was minus 130 by knockout or technical knockout, and I jumped on that price right away. It has since moved to minus 125, so obviously I like that too. I think Jake Paul is ultimately going to get the stoppage. Mike Perry's been knocked out before in boxing to an actual boxer. This was almost 10 years ago. And at BKFC, if you notice in his fights, they're wars, and BKFC is different than actual boxing. You know, obviously having gloves makes a difference, but you could see Platinum Mike Perry's defense is not necessarily something that Jake Paul needs to be fearful of. The weight is going to be an interesting thing here because this is going to be contested at cruiserweight. Jake Paul typically has fought under the 200-pound cruiserweight weight limit, but he has actually weighed in at 199 or roughly thereabouts over his last two fights, gearing up to be an actual cruiserweight, it appears, after being in that 183 to 191 pound range. This is relevant because Mike Perry typically fights at 185 or 175 at BKFC. Earlier this year, he had a fight at 185 pounds. So the weight is going to be a thing here. Jake Paul also has a height advantage. Jake Paul also has a reach advantage. And Jake Paul, like, you know, say what you want about the guy, but he has taken boxing seriously. He has progressively gotten better. No, he hasn't beaten anyone that is super legitimate. We've seen Jake Paul take apart these guys who can kind of box, but not really. Jake Paul specializes in boxing as his discipline at this point. Like, we have to call it what it is. And I think ultimately he's going to get this stoppage. I like it at minus 130 or minus 125, or if you could find it even better than that, so be it. But I think Jake Paul is going to stop Platinum Mike Perry here. The size, the age advantage, and he's not bad. On the co-feature, we have Amanda Serrano, who is a minus 5,000 favorite, depending on where you look. Although she hasn't gotten a knockout since March of 2021. That's several fights ago at this point. And Stevie Morgan is also naturally bigger. Stevie Morgan's fought the bulk of her professional bouts at lightweight, or there's even been one or two at super lightweight. This bout is going to take place at super lightweight. And Amanda Serrano, who's the undisputed featherweight champion, will then be moving up from 126 to 140. Now, Serrano has fought at 140 before. She's won a world title at 140 before. She doesn't really fight at this weight class really at all. The world title that she did win was against Yamila Reynoso, and that was in 2018. She won that by decision. Amanda Serrano's about 5'6". Stevie Morgan's about 5'8". Amanda Serrano's reach is about 66 inches. If Stevie Morgan's reach is equal to her height, because we don't actually know what the reach is at this point, then she's going to have a slight reach advantage as well. Ultimately, it's not going to matter because stylistically, she's going to come forward and be in Amanda Serrano's face. And this is important as it pertains to betting on this fight, because Amanda Serrano's been pushing for 12-round fights for the women. 12-round, 3-minute round fights for the women for championship fights. This is not a championship fight. Stevie Morgan competes at lightweight, moving up to super lightweight. Amanda Serrano's moving up 3 weight classes from featherweight to super lightweight before fighting Katie Taylor again later this year in November. This fight is going to be 10 2-minute rounds. So is the fight against Katie Taylor, by the way, but this is going to be 10 2-minute rounds. Why that's relevant? Because Amanda Serrano, even though pushing for 12 3-minute rounds, won that fight 12 rounds, 3-minute rounds against Danilo Ramos by decision late last year. Everything else has been by decision since March of 2021. I'm picking Amanda Serrano to win this fight, duh. But I think she's going to win it on points. Amanda Serrano may be in that Manny Pacquiao mode. Manny Pacquiao after 2009 fought 17 times and got 1 knockout. Canelo Alvarez in his last 9 fights, all since 2019, has gotten just 3 knockouts. And to this point has boxed about 5 straight decisions in his career. Maybe Amanda Serrano's just at that point. And I think this is going to be a decision. I think also because it's just 10 2-minute rounds, I feel less confident in the knockout, even though that's at minus money right now. I like Serrano to win by decision at plus 125. And that's where I'm going to leave it for now. That's all we have for this particular video. We have Jake Paul, to reiterate, by knockout, minus 125, minus 130, whatever the case may be. But ultimately, we think he's going to get the stoppage. And Amanda Serrano on points, plus 125. If you do like this video, hit like, comment, subscribe. Remember to track your picks on the Action Network app. And we have another boxing video this weekend. Junto Nakatani, Vincent Astrolabio, WBC Bantamweight World Championship on ESPN+. We talk about that in another video, so be sure to check that out. That's all we have for this week. We'll see you again very soon. Thank you for watching.